Welcome to Unfold, where we see with a different eye and of course visualize with a colorful mind. My name is Hildah Lumati. Now, upbringing is very important. The way your father and mother bring you up can either affect the way you think, the way you feel about yourself, and even the way you treat other people. Damaris Kimani is here today to share her story on forgiving her criminal dad.
Hello guys, thanks a lot for having me here today. My name is Damaris Kimani, a gospel minister, an events personnel or an events manager or planner, an actress, a vlogger, a CEO Most Loved initiative that deals with the less fortunate, and also a what? There are so many. But for now, that is Damaris Kimani. And I'm so glad to be here today.
Damaris,
yes.
Welcome to Unfold.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Please feel at home.
Yes.
Feel free.
Thank you.
It's time to share your story.
Thanks a lot.
Now, a father figure is an important person in our lives because dads give us, like, let me say, they give us identity sometimes.
Yes.
And for you, it's been different.
Yes.
There is a story that you have, and you're here to talk about forgiving your criminal dad.
Yes.
The word criminal. Is too much.
It is.
So I just want you to take us through your story.
Yes.
How was your relationship like with your dad?
Okay. So in a family of four, first I'm the second born. We are two ladies and two gentlemen. And I was born and brought up in Umoja. And by then my dad was working as a driver in a certain circle. Yeah, magari ya tumoja ilikuwa inaitwa Comrade. Then at some point, the behavior that he had of drinking, it became too much. Yes, he used to drink, but it wasn't that much. But again, at some point, it just got too much. So that is where it all started, because he began to be a bit violent. He began to be using abusive words, especially to my mom and also to us sometimes. And it was very bad and sad. Now to a point of when the drinkiness came, ilikujika kwa mingi sana, alikuja akavutwa job. Because now unapata akiamka asubuhi ako na hangover, maybe he's supposed to wake up by 4 a.m, he's supposed to be on the road. So he cannot be able to be at time because he has a lot of hangovers. So the management couldn't handle it anymore, and so he was fired out of work. So since then akaanza kuwa na, I think it was too much frustrations and you know, yeah, it was just a lot. And by then my mom used to have a small business which was doing good by then, because she used to sell githeri, maragwe nini, uto tu biashara twa nini twa mama tu twa soko. Yeah, and it was doing well. So there was this day that I'll never forget. Nilikuwa nasaidia mom kutoa hizo mahindi, kuchagua maragwe nini, because my mom used to buy things in bulk so that asikuwe anaenda hasara ya kila siku. So this day we are with her, tumelala late because I was helping her to prepare stuff, and it happened my dad alikuja very late at home. It was around 1 a.m. So but mbaya ikakuwa we had misplaced funguo za gate. And so when he came, instead of anokata gently, alikuwa tu ashaanza hasira akiwa huko nje. So huko kwa gate tunasikia sijui fungueni hapa sijui nini. Tukajua leo tutajua tujui. So alikuwa mlevi kama kawaida. So we had to wake up the neighbors because we knew, hey, simba akifika hapa tutajua ni kubaya. So we had to wake up the neighbors so that we can be able to get the keys to the gate, and we opened. Immediately he came in, hata hakuna sasa ama mmeshindaje, ilikuwa vita. And so he started beating up my mom. It was bad because he beat him so much. And for me, if there is one thing I sikuwa napenda kuwitness, it was when my mom alikuwa anapigwa, because nilikuwa na feel vibaya nikiona mamangu vile anaumia, anapiga nduru. You know, even for a normal human being, hata ukipata na saina mama kwa barabara analia, itakusumbua, itakudisturb tu. So sikuwa nataka ku experience hiyo kitu. So I used to run away and hide somewhere. So that is what I did. I remember I ran away and nikaenda chini ya sink, because ilikuwa single room place nilikuwa tunaishi. I'm also trying to wake up the neighbors to come to the rescue of my mom, you know, but already walikuwa shazoea hiyo kitu na walikuwa naogopa babangu sana. So my dad went to an extra mile of taking the things that we were preparing, the mahindis and whatever, akachukua kazi mwaga zote nje, kwa sababu my mom used to buy charcoal na gunia mzima, akaenda akachukua mafuta ya stove akamwagilia akachoma. It was bad. Yani business ya mom ilikuwa destroyed with that one night, you know, and that was the end of mom's business. And so after hapo, so since dada yuko job, mama yuko job, life ikaanza kuwa ngumu sana because hakuna any source of money. Watoto ndio hao wako shule, school fees is needed, house rent is needed, you know, a lot of responsibilities. But now at some point, ilifika place, the landlady started threatening us to a point of, you guys, your arrears are becoming too much and I cannot host you anymore. So just in case you're not able to pay this money by this time, I'll have to send people and bring out your staffs. And so at some point when things began to become so hard, my dad akahepa akaenda because we were trying to reach him out. He's not anywhere to be found. And yeah, the landlady fulfilled whatever she had promised us. Akatuma watu wakakuja wakatuambia na madharau. If there is someone who's watching me right now and he or she has experienced that, they know what it means kutolewa vitu nje by force. The aibu, the shame, you know, you're trying to beg this mama, unamwambia ona niko na watoto, where will I go? But at that time they don't understand you totally. So that is what happened. Tukatolewa vitu nje. Remember our last born, who is my sister, alikuwa mdogo sana, kalikuwa kadogo nikatuika kubebwa hivi. So you can imagine the burden that you are experiencing. That time we're trying to reach out, my dad hapatikani kabisa. So since we didn't even have a single coin, neighbor yetu fulani alikuwa mzai ndo akatuambia shikeni fare and see where you can be able at least to sleep for the night, because tulikuwa stranded. Tuko yes, tuende wapi, tuanzie wapi? So my mom akacall her sister mwenye anaishi Roy, akamwambia can you be able to accommodate us for some time as we, you know, we see the way forward with life. So ndio sisi mpaka Roy. But now you see it was such a burden because already sister yake akona familia, unaget, na sisi tena ni familia ingine. Tumeenda, imagine venye unaenda kwa mtu unabeba maziwa tu nini because you know you're going to spend there for some time.
Yes.
Na hiyo hakuna, you know, it was bad. So at some point my mom hakuwa anatakanga affiliate kama ni burden kwa watu. So akaona the best way is to go to Shago, we just go and start life there. So akaongea na sister yake after staying there for some time, na akamwambia msaidie na fare so that we can be able to relocate there, and that is what we did. So we went all the way to Nyeri, and when we went there, life began again.
So right now you're in the village.
Yes. So tukatafutiwa shule na shusha yangu, tukapata shule, and I started schooling there together with my other siblings. So at some point it was like a year and a half, that is when my dad came back after kujua watu walienda Ruai, then after Ruai wakaenda Ushago.
After a year?
Yes, a year and a half. So that is when he came back. Akakuja, he was very apologetic. Oh, I'm sorry for whatever happened, nimechange, blah blah blah. And you know, sometimes since everybody deserves a second chance and you sit down and talk and resolve things, you know, junior relationship na kuna ups and downs. Shosho akakubali, mama akakubali, and so we came back again to him. So hapo tulipata alienda akachukua vitu akahamia Kayole. So we started life there again. Yes. So it was good. I can't complain at that moment. It was amazing. Of course, the family time, it was amazing. But again, at some point, life ikaanza kuchange pole pole in terms of the venye tulikuwa tunakaa, yani, because hatukuwa sawa vile, you know, that humble background. And so my dad started buying stuff. For instance, we didn't have a TV for the longest time. Hatukuwa na viti nini, akaanza tu kubuy vitu pole pole. So for us we were excited because we were like, life at least is already changing. By then when all those things were happening, hatukuwa tunajua where the source of money is coming from. But for us we were just, you know, it's life and he's a man, he's supposed to kusimamia stuff.
Yes.
But at some point there was this watchman penye dada alikuwa anaenda kunywa, akakujanga akatu approach, alikuja ka approach mama actually. Akamwambia Kimani, kuna group yenye ako nayo na si group poa, ni group inajulikana hapa Kayole sana, ni group ya wakora. But you know, my mom was like, oh God, yani after watu wameanza ku succeed, watu kujanga tu na tu story. Oh, ako Illuminati, oh, ako nini. So akufocus sana na details zenye watchman alimwambia. But trust me, this watchman came on like alikuwa na come back kwa madhe all the time akimwambia the same thing just to keep her posted, because alikuwa anamwambia mami hata sikwambii kwa ubaya, mimi nakwambia tu just in case anything happens. So it was very hard for mom to believe that, because yani you know, imagine saying to akujetu hapa kwambia Damu unajua sasa from a gospel minister, very humble lady to something else, yani because that was a very huge difference and a very huge gap, unajua. So there was this one day mama akaniambia nataka tuende tuchugulie place hapo kwa uto tumbao tuone kama ni ukweli hiyo group tunaambiwa yenye baba anatembea nayo kama ni kweli ni wakora. So mind you, all this time I'm just a little girl hapo, and me purposely nikienda kuangalia uto nikipip kwa hizo shimo, mimi nilikuwa nangoja kuona hizo mabunduki manini, you know, you want to see the gangster in those people. But sasa nikichugulia nilikuwa tu watu wanakunywa pombe wako simple, I'm like mimi sioni ukora hapa, they're just having fun, you know. But trust me, that is how my dad ended up in the your two group ya wizi. So bado haikuwa imesinkin kabisa bado, and for me ndio my mama kuwe free na mimi kushare whatever was happening. We were very close with her ever since I was little as class 4. So tukiendelea hivyo, life ikaendelea kuchange, so from a single room to a double room, from a double room to a self-contained. But before tuende kwa self-contained, I remember tukiwa kwa double room, one day my dad tells us to prepare stuff because he's bringing in visitors. And we were very excited kwa sababu we love visitors so much. So mamangu kwanza siku ya wageni anakuanga tu anaweza hata kwa mshafo, amka endea maiti, endea waru, sijui endea nini, yani you know, kuchangamka juu wageni wanakam. And so that is what we did. And now the time came, my dad comes in with visitors, and the time introduction ikafika. So my dad alikuanga tu very brief, ushojo tu wenye wanaume wa nyumba huko. So akakuja akasema sasa huyu anaitwa hivi na hivi, na kuanzia leo nataka mheshimu kama vile mnaheshimu mama yenu. Huyu ni mama yenu wa pili, ni mama yenu mdogo. It was as brief as that.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Your dad was bringing in a second wife?
Yes. So the introduction was that brief. Anaitwa hivi na hivi, na kuanzia leo mkwe mnamheshimu venye mnaheshimu mama yenu mwingine. And so I remember that day my mom couldn't take the weight yani. Alitoka akaenda. So sisi juu ni watu na baba amesema hatuna option, tulikatua hapo. Exactly, na tukakubali whatever was brought on table. So when that unfolded, kukaanza kuwa sasa na a lot of difference, because tukaanza kupata time yenye tulikuwa tuna have na mzai haiko. He's now not present. Akaanza tu kutoka kwa sababu sasa all focus iko kwa the second wife.
And the second wife, where was she living?
She was living at Komarok. Yes.
Okay.
So vitu zikaanza tu kuchange kabisa. So unapata time yenye ulikuwa na have na your dad, you're not having it anymore, because it is focused somewhere else. And so it was very hard. It was very hard for us, I won't lie that. And I remember now from that double room ndo tukaenda sasa kwa self-contained. So already we could now see the people that my dad was bringing in sometimes at home, and now you could tell kweli this is what my dad is doing. So for my siblings wenye wamenifuata nyuma wawili, we never told them like this and this is what is happening in terms of my dad being involved in criminality. So it was very hard, because how do you go to tell 10-year, 15-year-old that babako ni mwizi? You know, it is very hard. But for me, I don't know, I think through hizo transitions za life, my mom used to bring in a challenge whenever there was a situation, just to keep me yani strong and, you know, adapt that life. So I would say nilianza ku experience a lot when I was little, na nikaanza ku grow ile the hard way, unaona. So here we are, tumeshift to a self-contained. We're getting everything, responsibility my dad was doing, alikuwa analipa hao, yes, anafanya shopping, but we don't have his presence.
Yes, and that is the most important thing.
Yes. It's the same thing with life, because sometimes you might be doing something and it's not about finances. It's just about someone being there, holding your hand, you know, encouraging you, and you know, that, so we started lacking that, and it was very heavy for us. So for me, as time goes by, ndo mimi nimefika class 7. So personally I was so affected because you know inakuanga the opposite, ladies wanakuanga watu wa baba yao sana, wanaume ni watu wa mama yao wa baba yao sana. So I remember like the good moments we used to have with my dad was like my birthdays. I used to celebrate all my birthdays. My babangu alikuwa anakosa kuchangamka. Baadaye vitu zikaanza kuchange, unaona. So it really affected me so much. And I remember in between nikakuja nikaji-involve na bad company nikiwa Kayole, tukiwa tu tunaishi Kayole. And that is how my life began to be affected. So as I started doing alcohol because nilikuwa nakunywa makali, nilikuwa nafanya hizi vitu because I needed that comfort, because I was like life yangu imechange, I'm not getting whatever I used to get kitambo. So I started comforting myself in drugs and bad companies. So venye nilianza kukunywa hizo makali, nilianza tu ku addictive in a funny way, because nilikuwa nasikia leo sijakunywa, naenda nakumbuka hiyo pombe ilikuwa inaitwa Queens. So nilikuwa naenda na buy, nakumbuka nusu ilikuwa 40 bob, kafuli kalikuwa 80. So afadhali nitafute hiyo mbao na yani nipate tu, unajua. So alafu tena na kampani yenye nilikuwa nayo kuchochana, you see. So nika graduate from alcohol to bangi. Nikatoka bangi nikaanza kuchana, hivyo tu pole pole, and I started clubbing, nikaanza kwenda majam session, marege. Hivyo tu yani, like nili experience a lot through that age. So pia shule ilikuwa a bit hectic because I was nilikuwa shule ilikuwa inaitwa Kifaru Primary School in Umoja. So I remember mpaka head teacher, hiyo I think sijai sema, nakumbuka head teacher kila siku, yani siku anakaa amani shule. Juu nilikuwa tu najua nikiitwa hivi kesi imeletwa kwa ofisi, maybe tulikuwa bash saa to sijui wapi, na kuna wasichana wajaenda kulala kwao, so kesi inaletwa shule. So it was that bad. And I remember after now class 7 though mimi class 8, but I'm still doing drugs, and it was very hard for my mom because alianza kufeel akona a lot of stress. Yani baba yako ni huyu this side ananisumbua, on the other hand tena ndio wewe. Niko primary. Mama yangu makesi nini, yani alikuwa mpaka ameshachoka na mimi. So nakumbuka nikiwa class 8 ndio niko hapo katikati na karibia kumalizia, my mama akaniambia I want you to talk to your dad, kwa sababu yes akiendezi missions zake anapata a lot of money, nataka ujue venye utamsweet talk anifungulie account, kwa sababu hii job yao it's not guaranteed whether when you go you'll come back. So at least when I have an account and it's in overflow ya door, ile siku tutamaliza class 8 and it's your time to go to form 1, sita struggle. Yes. So I remember every time I used to call my dad and I kept on insisting on that thing, but he began to be, alikuwa mrodi yani, alikuwa tu aniongelesha sijui aje, yani hiyo relationship, that love ilienda kabisa. So nikamwambia baba sasa iko hivi na hivi, nilikuwa tu naonelea kama unaweza fungulia mama account aanze kunini do hapo pole pole. So unasikia ati wewe umemaliza class 8, unaniambia aje hivyo sasa ina hujamaliza class 8? Na pesa yangu sio utaniambia venye nitaipangia sijui nini. So I used to get those feedbacks. So mamangu this side already alikuwa shanza kuwa na stress yani, because hayuko job. Remember all that this time mama hayuko job. So mamangu alikuwa shinda ukimuinsistia ndio ni venye uko na haja na shule. But whenever I used to go to approach him, I used to get a negative feedback, of which hiyo ilikuwa ina follow esteem yangu sana. Na ndio ilikuwa hata nafanya more of those drugs because nilikuwa na feel ile nini haiko yenye nahitaji. So ndio mimi sasa nimekuja nimemaliza class 8. And mind you, this time when my dad used to go for those missions, a lot of times saa zingine walikuwa wanapata bahati mbaya sana cause walikuwa wanapata wakienda kuna mwenye either kutakuwa na shootout, mmoja uawe au wengine waweze kutoroka, so wanaenda exile for some time because hiyo ndio life sana ya wakora. Wameenda mission tena, wawili wao wameuawa, they have to waende exile, ndio unajua. So hapo sasa life yetu ikaanza ku affected sana. Because now at this particular point, when you need him the most, you cannot get him because of whatever he's doing. So nile alikuwa akiwa na line leo, ata make communications zile calls zenye ata make atupe hiyo simu ama atupe line because of being tracked. So if you need to communicate to him something important, it is very hard. Because utapata maybe alienda exile sijui wapi, uko utamtafutaje ukimwambia unataka yeye. So a lot of times we used ilikuwa ina to force to reach out to the second wife. Tuambie, please, when you get him, tell him this and this and this information, because now they used to live with the second wife. So kwetu alikuwa anakuja tu kutembea, alikuwa kama mgeni. So I remember now ndo mimi nimemaliza class 8. My dad is nowhere to be seen because of whatever he's doing. So time yangu ya kuingia form 1 ndio imefika. And when I'm supposed now to be in form 1, later nini imekuja kuingia shule, but now hatuna mwelekeo, we have totally nothing and my dad is nowhere to be found. So ikaanza kukua so stressful, especially to mom. Mama yuko job. Okay. So
and mom was trying to be strong for you people.
Yes, and I always thank her so much, and I always thank God for her, because if it were for another mom, according to the lot of stories we have heard, and get yes, that's very true. And get toka end and the kids end up getting to streets. So I remember when this began to unfold and life began to be so tough because my dad now is absent. Life ikaanza kuwa ngumu because the responsibility he used to play, it is no longer there because hapatikani. So kama house rent 9,000 tutatoa, mom is not at work. We are trying to reach out to the second wife, my dad is absent. Ameanza kutuonesha sasa ile madharau kabisa, like madharau. So life ikaanza kuwa ngumu. So in that duration, I remember my mom had to sell things kwa sababu tulianza tena kuambiwa tutatolewa kwa hiyo nyumba, tulianza kuwa na arrears. So tukikumbuka venye hiyo time mumo tulitolewa, tuko like hapana, we don't want this to happen to us again. So we have to at least try our very best to see how we can solve this. So the best that my mom could do is to sell things. And I remember akauza TV. Yani imagine say life ndio ilikuwa, yani life had changed, and all of a sudden life switches off again. So my mama akauza TV, and now anauza bei ya hasara. So unapata if alikuwa amebuy TV 10,000, anauza hata 3,000 because you're desperate, you need money. So alikauza TV, akauza cupboard, akauza radio, akauza mattress because it was still new, it was high density. Yani aliuza a lot of things so that we can be able to survive. So from there we went to a place called Matopeni to at least find a house where we can be able to manage. And I remember when you were walking there with my mom, niko aki mom, sasa huku tutakaaje, juu security haiko poa, watu wakirauka shule itakuaje, you know. And so my mom alikuwa like, when you're going through problems and you're at your last, even kwa choo utaishi, hata kama hiyo choo iko wapi, you live there. You don't have an option. So you'll just have to understand that is where life has taken us. We don't have an option. And every time my mom used to challenge me with these life lessons, I used to take it positively, because the good thing is I used to understand her. Because ukiangalia generation yetu sahi and the things that our parents are going through, some kids do not understand. They tend hata kuchapa mama zao, wengine hata wanaua wazazi ama wanatoroka, they decide to go wild. But I thank God hiyo time alinisaidia sana. So we go and we find a house huko chini interior Matopeni kabisa. And you are like, tulipata nyumba I think 2,000. So this time we were at least excited, we were getting back at least kutoa vitu because tulikuwa tumeambiwa usiku isiishe tukiwa huko. And so bado mimi I was still stressed. On our way back nikamwambia mom, juu tulipita place inaitwa Kayolewa, nikamwambia mom, hebu tupitie hapa naona ile kibao ya vacant, tuulizie hapa iko aje, because at least here the place is open and inakaa bit secure. So but yetu mzuri tukapata hiyo ilikuwa at least 2,500, so it was only a difference of 500 shillings. Nikamwambia mom, this is much better, why don't we just vacate in here? And my mom was okay with it. So that day tukaenda tukajipanga. So where tulikuwa tunakaa, hiyo self-contained, to where we shifted to the single room, it was not far, it was just like a walking distance kadogo sana. And that is what we did. So our life again transited to zero, back to zero. Yeah, so my mom, when we were there, remember she used to tell us, at least afadhali kukaa kwa place yenye uko na amani kuliko kila saa unasumbuliwa. Because mind you, when we were in that self-contained, a lot of times the CIDs used to come to our house, and all the time kokoko tunasikia Kimani alikuwa huku, tunasikia kitupeni Kimani, you know, it was stressful.
So your life was in danger because of your dad?
Yes. because this time I'm in the exile and now they have to look for the people who are close to Nini. And now for instance, like the pictures, everything that we had yake alikuwa anasema hizo vitu chomeni, just zitoeni huko kabisa. You can imagine the life that you were going through that time. And so that was our life when we were in the self-contained. We didn't have peace, yani. It was all the time stressful. So even the people who were around us, it was very hard for us to trust them because we didn't know. Mtu alikuwa tu anakama anakuambia unajua mimi beshte ya babako nimemkawia aliendanga wapi, but kumbe huyu mtu ametumwa na CID. So that was our life. We never used to trust people around us because of trying to get information, you know. And personally me, ilikuwa because I was the most affected, because now my siblings hawakuwa wanajua whatever was going on. Because I remember anytime they used to ask for dad, we used to lie to them that dad alienda Sudan job. Na huko kuna kuangana shida network. That is what we used to tell them. So they used to understand, but they were having a lot of questions. So I remember myself, I used to fear a lot. I used to fear because, you know, such kind of a thing, these are things that you normally see in movies. Unajua?
Okay.
So you can nilikuwa na imagine sasa ndio watu wamekuja surround nyumba and then they, you know, they decide to storm your house with gunshots nini because they are looking for it. So for me, I used to fear. So every time those CIDs used to come to our house, I was like, kayaki, something might happen. What if my dad gets shot? And what will be, you know, I used to, nilikuwa so stressed. And I remember it affected even my studies because every time I was in school, sometimes I would just lose focus and start thinking about our home, whatever is happening right now, you know. And it's something that I never used to share with anyone because nilikuwa naona ni kitu ya aibu, nilikuwa naona ni kitu when I tell someone maybe they'll end up giving us to the police waseme wanajua, you know. It was very hard. So now here we are, we have shifted, and at least you have that peace of mind. All that time my dad is nowhere to be found, and finally time nafaa kuingia shule imefika. So it is first term. Guys have already started reporting to school. Dama is still at home doing nothing. And that is when now I also began to get deeper in drugs. So ilikuwa inaenda ikigrow sana. Nika change. I remember I used to have good hair. Nikanyoa mohawk. Nikaanza kutoboa. And it was bad. So that was my life, and that is what I adapted. And I remember, because it was getting worse, even the people around us never used to understand the situation I used to go through. So a lot of people used to judge me, wakisema, hey, msichana venye anapenda kuwa na wanaume, hata imaliza shule, ataenda mahali, sijui. I used to get that a lot. But again, by then nilikuwa nisha develop your spirit ya bad girl. So I was like, you just talk whatever you're talking. But at the end of the day, this is my life and this is what I've chosen. So I don't care whatever you guys are going to say about me. So that was life by then. And I remember after all that was happening, my mom now took a step of starting to wash clothes for people so that we can be able to get something to eat, something to, you know, pay house rent, and at least see if she can be able to save some money. But now, the much she could get from that job, it's 500 shillings. So 500 utasave ya shule. Now you know kuwa admitted from one village, it's a lot of money. Ama ni nyumba utalipa, ama ni food, you know. So uko na 500, 300 hata igawaniki. So first time ikaisha tu nikiwa nyumbani. Second time ikaingia, the same thing still happens. And now we were almost approaching third term. So at the middle of second term, this is when my dad comes after a long time, and he was showed where we located from, and he came. So mimi nikitoka huko kwa watu wangu wa bangi nikapata dad hapo. I was very excited because I was like, wow, hii ni do imekam ya shule. And trust me, I used to miss school because I could see my peers, I could see my former classmates, you know, talking and chatting about how school is fun, how some subjects are so interesting, and myself haven't experienced
you
anything.
Not relate.
Yes. So I just used to lie. Yani nilikuwa na ulienda shule na danganya, because I used to gather information najua biology, kuna chemistry, kuna nini, you know, but I used to lie so much. So this day my dad comes, and when I venye nilienda home I was very excited because nilimwona tu nikajua ni do ya shule. So when I went and I got him there, I was very excited. I said hi nini. So kumbe time akikama kuja tu kusurvey kajua hapa ndio mnaishi. So remember, because the house, I used to call it a cube because it was very small single room. So I'm there and he was like, how do you guys survive here? I was like, wait a minute my nigga, what do you mean? Unabevaje ni kama mtu alikuwa anaishi London na akakuja hapa sasa ndio anaona this is a very different lifestyle. You know, that's how my dad started even developing some kiburi, you know. And I was like, yeah, we are surviving, you know, uko maisha litulemea, house ikakuwa nini. So yeah, hapa tuna survive, tuko tu sawa. So nikienda kuuliza tena story ya shule, the same thing. Usiniambie venye nitatumia pesa yangu. Siku ya shule ikifika ndakwambia siku yenye utaenda shule. I was like, it's okay, ni first time imeisha, ni second time inaenda kumaliza, but it's okay. So akaenda and that was it. So mama akaendelea tu kungangana na hizo manini zake because at some point mama aleta tu kushughulika naye because alikuwa na feel it's a lot of burden, so let me just focus with my kids and how they're going to survive. And I remember when all that was happening and myself, life is becoming too much with the drug dealing and stuff and people judging me and all that. Another visit comes in. So when my dad visited, before that, when my mom alikuwa nenda kuchill, you know, when you go to the Izima estates kubwa, you'll see some women chilling somewhere outside. Wale wa kuambia mtu naweza kufulia, naweza kufanya nini. So that is how my mom used to chill around in Komaro. So when she was just chilling kwa hizo gates, a certain lady comes. She was a very long term friend of hers, but they wali disconnect kidogo venye tu watu upoteleana. So venye walipatana, they were very excited and they were, you know, exchanging nini, uliendanga wapi, what do you do nowadays, nini. And so the friend told her, myself, mimi niliolewa na mzungu, sasa hata naishi hapa Koma, sijui hivi na hivi ndio life iko. And so mom was telling her, mimi this is what happened. Dama hata ingia shule, bado tu tuko na yeye home, hata nashangaa ndafanya aje, so mkuja kutafuta job hapa. And so the lady akasema, I can help you but in one condition. If you guys are gonna come and work for me as housemaids. Yes. Sip some tea. sip some tea.
So you and your mom go work for her as housemaids. Yeah.
So that I can be able to get to school. So she told my mom, I'll not pay you cash, but instead I'll make sure Dama is admitted at school and it has to be a day school. And so my mom was like, it's okay, so long as aingie shule, me I'm okay with it. So for my mom, it was very heavy because alikuwa anashangaa, how will I even go and approach my daughter and tell her we have to go and work as housemaids so that she can be able to get to school. So here is that term. And so mom comes and, you know, she anakuwa muapproach vizuri, ananiambia hivi na hivi kama kawaida na life lessons zake. And I was like, it's okay. Me, so long as I just go to school, I'll appreciate so much. Yani me being in school, that's all. And I used to love boarding school so much, but this time I had to accept that I have to go to a day school.
Yes.
And so personally I had to pack my clothes ndio niende nishiftie kwa mama since we are working as housemaids. So mama yeye alikuwa anakujanga every morning. Nikitoka kwenye niliachia kazi anaendeleshea. So nakumbuka niliingia shule that term, watu wakifanya exam ya kwenda the next class. And I went to Brucewood, ilikuwa Kayole. That is when I first got to high school. And I remember when I got there, guys were doing their exams for the next class and I was so confused. Nilikuwa nakani kama mtu ametoka world ingine. So the principal was like, it's okay, the good thing is that you are admitted at school, so don't stress about the exams, we just catch up pole. And yeah, that's how life began to be. And I remember nikitoka shule kwenye mama ameachia naendeleshea. Kwa hivyo kama watu hawajapikiwa sapa, I do the washing utensils nini. But my time there, it was a bit tough because truth be told, sometimes we ladies have a bad attitude. And I remember because this woman alikuwa one of the kids alikuwa dem. Hey, it was tough there. Nilikuwa nalala hivi unasikia sijui sipendi venye unalalanga, niko dear Lord, na venye mimi ulala hivi straight. Mimi kwanza nikilala hivi ndaamka tu hivi. So the lady started complaining, sijui nitaandikiange mattress chini. It was too my life, like hiyo season nikiwa hapo kwa hiyo nyumba haikuwa rahisi, but I used to take it the way it is because ni shida imekupeleka hapo, so you don't have an option. Yeah, so I remember it was one Saturday we were doing a general cleaning, and all of a sudden this woman comes and starts complaining that she has lost 10,000 shillings. Ilikuwa kwa handbag yake. So she was very loud, and I remember she was like trying to talk indirectly, but the way she was talking you could tell she was referring the whatever to us. So my mom gets concerned, and she's like, okay, you're talking about 10,000. Where exactly was it? Because I was the one who was dealing with your bedroom. I was the one who was washing it. And I, by any chance niki clean, sikuona do yote. So the woman akaanza kuwa very bitter, and she was like, so you're trying to tell me that my kids are the one who have stolen the money? Because hii nyumba haijawahi biwa hata shilingi 10. Hata niache wapi, it has never been stolen. So my mom was like, oh, okay. Pole sana, but mimi nikifanya cleaning huko hakuna pesa yenye nimepata. And it was bad. Yani huko tulitolewa na madharau. Hata unaona venye unaambiwa kuzaa kwambi toka. Yani whatever she'll do tutakwambia wewe toka, you're not needed here. So that is what we did. So my mama akaniambia fanya aje, go pack your stuffs. Turudi kwa shida yetu. We cannot live here any longer, because I think when you're going through the worst situation in life, people end up judging you in case anything happens. Yes. They just see ni wewe, ni huyu ndo ameiba. Kweli. So hiyo ilikuwa tu kionjo ya shule, and that is how my school life was cut short hivyo. Because I remember hakuwa amelipa school fees yote, so at some point nikakuja nikafukuzwa shule. So tukarudi tena. So when we went back, I remember after a little while my mom began developing some health issues, and I never knew how serious it was, because I think my mom has this thing, whenever she's undergoing something, either she's stressed or whatever, she won't show it directly, because anajua maybe inaweza ni affect ama itatu affect sisi kama watoto wake. You know, she was trying to be strong for us. Yes. So mimi kama kawaida nikarudi kwa life yangu tu ya mabangi manini, and I remember at some point, because my mom wasn't well, hata hiyo pesa hakuwa hata na hiyo nguvu ya kwenda huko kwa hizo kuosha manguo. I took like the responsibility indirectly. So mara mingi mama kwa hapo haizi amka, I was the one who was going to the guys whom we used to take drugs with, Nambia, please help me with 100 shillings, help me with 200, and then I budget it little by little mpaka na make sure imetosha na tumekula supper at the end of the day. So that is how again life began to be more tougher. So this time my mom is very sick. Haizi amka kwa bed, she can't do anything, miguu zimefura, you know, and that is when she told me she has developed high blood pressure, and the pressure is iko juu kabisa. So this one day we go with my friend to pelekea her some fruits, and that day my mom's ananiambia kaa hapo chini kuna kitu nataka kuambia. So she began talking, akaanza unajua sasa maisha inakuanga hivi na hivi, na ile siku yenye wewe utabarikiwa, sijui usisahau brother yako ama sister yako, usiseme sijui nini. You know, alianza tu kuniambia vitu mob. So I was like, okay, sijui kama ni bangi zangu ama nini, but why am I not getting where this point is going to? And so my mama akaona at some point ni kama nimekuwa confused, because nilikuwa tu hapo tunamsikiliza. And then all of a sudden she told me, mimi venye nasikia saa hii sijioni kama nita survive. Kwa hivyo wewe watoto wenyu waangalie sijui bla bla bla. Let me tell you. Immediately. Yes, and she was suffering because that time she was vomiting blood, and it was bad. You could see her shaking. You could see she was at her last. And I remember I just ran away from the house and went to the balcony with a towel. I cried with bitterness. Nikiapo kwa balcony nikasema, Mungu utachukua mamangu nikimwona. Wewe mchukue tu kama nimekaa hapa nje. And it was very tough. Nikakaa hapo because nakumbuka that time when my mom was suffering. She was trying to tell me, kuna namba ya daktari kwa hapo, call huyo daktari umwambie nimezidiwa. So I'm trying to look at the, yani I was so confused. So nikiwapo kwa balcony I remember I was looking at my other siblings who chini wakicheza innocently. They don't know whatever is happening here. So when I was in that balcony, I was asking myself a lot of questions. So mama wangu akienda alafu nianzie wapi? Watu hivi wenye wanacheza hapa nje chini innocently. Wakipanda juu nitawaambiaje wakipata mama yake hayuko? Unajua I was just so stressed. And then I remembered my mom is telling me to be fast and call the doctor, nimwambia amezidiwa. So nikakimbia tena kwa nyumba haraka nikachukua receipt and I'm trying to run, you know, trying to see how I can get some money, because remember when I called the doctor akaniambia the only thing we can do is just you guys to buy the medicine. Itamsaidia. And so I'm there running up and down, and I remember I first ran to our wangu wenye tulikuwa tunakutana nao Bangi, because they were like a second family to me. And so when I went there I told them hivi nipatieni simu, hata msishinde mkiniuliza ni kazi gani, simu nitawarudishia. And on my way back I met with my dad akienda club. Nikamwambia baba mambo sasa nilikuwa nataka kuambia hata nilikuwa nimepatana na wewe mama ni mgonjwa sana na amezidiwa na anahitaji 900, unaweza kuwa nao nisaidie? Akaniambia unajua watu wakiwa wagonjwa kuna kuanga na njia mbili, it's either mtu survive ama akufe. Kwa hivyo yeye yenye tu itafanyikia tu hiyo ni tutakuba. And then I remember if there was a day I was strong, it was that day, cause hizo words tu peke yake, trust me, ningekaa hapo na nikwe broken na nianze kulia nikikumbuka hali yenye nimeacha mama nayo. And this is someone I've met mwenye anaweza nisaidia, but again ananiambia njia ni mbili, it's either survive ama akufe tu, unajua. So I struggled so much because I remember you're trying to make phone calls, everybody's giving you an excuse. Afadhali ungeniambia jana, nimetumia tu hata saa hii, sijui nini. But at the end of the day I managed to get the 900, nikakimbia mpaka Zanaki, nikaambia nipatieni dawa. Nilifikiria ndakuja na madawa hivi, kumbe ni tablets tuwili, you know. And when I was on my way back, I was having this tension because nilikuwa najua nikienda sitapata mamangu kwa alive, you know. But mzuri nikaenda nikapata tu bado analemewa. My friend Eva was the one who was trying to at least help her, you know. Nikamwambia Eva ndio dawa, na nikakaa hivyo chini, kwa tu nimekaa hivi kwa kiti, mama amelala pale. So when Eva helped me that time, I was like ameenda, cause alikunywa dawa akalala, yani alizima tu. So naambia Eva, hebu mguze usikie kama ameenda. So Eva ananiambia I think your dawa ni strong, let us give her some time and see how it's gonna behave. And after some time my mama akaamka. So when my mom wake up akaniambia unajua venye nikikaa hapa na feel mimi kama mzazi I'm not doing anything. Na feel it's like I have failed as a parent, and that's where this thing is really eating me up. Kukuona hapa uendi shule, it's even making my situation to be even more worse. So nikajaribu kumuongelesha, nikamwambia mama acha kujistress. Unaona mimi hata niko sawa. Hizi ni vitu zina happen, you know. We're just trying to encourage each other, but for mom it was too heavy. And I remember that point is when my mom now recovered fully. Akasema hapana, let me just go outside there and start all over again. Let me just go and acha nikae hapo atakanda pata 200 at the end of the day. And so I remember this day when my mom wakes up and, you know, and I decide kwenda kuhustle. I remember time I'll take time kabla kuje kwa nyumba, and nikasema since watu wanafaa kuroka shule the next day in the morning, na mom saying sambila jengia, let me go tena kwa watu wangu. I borrow the 100 200, I do my budget as usual. So I did my budget as usual, and I remember going back home. Surprisingly nikapata na my dad alikuwa hapo home anafuta tu fegi yake. When I saw him, every time I used to see my dad, kwanza akikuja to visit, I was very excited. And I remember when I went there, I found him and I was like, sasa baba, yani I wish you could see my face that day. Kambe sasa baba, kanambia nasalimia nani sasa? Mimi rika yako. And mind you, through that journey, tukiwa pale kwa self-contained, personally relationship yangu na my dad, it was badly affected because from nowhere alikuja tu akanichukia. So anything I used to tell him, it was trash to him. To a point of anytime alikuwa anakuja kutu visit, singekosa kupigwa ama singekosa tu kuleleshwa ama kutukanwa. So that was again something else that I had already adapted. Because already my body used to suffer a lot of physical abuse in terms of being beaten. So anytime my dad will come na decide to kuuliza kitu tu in a bad way, nilikuwa najua ni vita inakam. So nilikuwa nishazoea. So venye siku niliingia akaniambia salimiana ni sasa, nikajua oh, okay, again here we are. Nikamwambia he, pole sana. Akaniambia ndio mlifunzwa kusalimiana? Nikamwambia pole. Mlifunzwa kusalimiana aje, habari yako? Hivyo ndio mlifunzwa kusalimiana? Niko gai. Kwani walimu walitudanganya? Nikamwambia shikamo. Hakuna salamu siku msalimia mpaka uhoro wako. Hakuna salamu siku msalimia. But nikaambiwa piga magoti, wekelea hizo vitu hapa, acha kujifanya umetoka kununua vitu. Umetoa wapi pesa? Nikamwambia ni best yangu amenisaidia, aje tujakuwa poa hapa nyumbani story na do. Akaniambia ati kama si kazi ya umalaya unaendanga kufanya kama mama yako, ni kazi gani hiyo ama ni nani huwa anakupatia tu pesa hivyo? Trust me, that crushed me. I was very crushed because I was like, wait a minute.
This is your father.
Yes. And you dare tell me ati kama si kazi ya umalaya nafanya kama mama yangu, ni kazi gani hiyo nafanya yenye napata do na pewa hiyo 100 ya kununua vitu? That crushed me. That point ameniambia piga magoti, nimepiga magoti. And when that crushed me, I remember that was the first time I answered my dad back. Nikamwambia baba, mimi najua mama fanyangi kazi ya umalaya. We kumwambia tu hivyo nilionwa war, nilipigwa vita. Alafu you know, I felt so bad because I was like some months ago tumetoka tu kufanya kazi kama maids. Okay. And here you tell me, you know, that for me was very hard. You know, it was very painful. And akanipiga. Alinipiga. Brother yangu mdogo akamwambia baba, mbona unachapa msona haja kukosea? Brother yangu akamwambia stupid, wewe umeguzwa, hebu lala. So alikuwa anaambiwa lale ndio nipigwe. Nikapigwa, mwiko ikavunjikia kwa mwili, akachukua mshipi, alikuwa ananipiga vita kama mwanaume. And I remember when kneeling down there, akatoa do, akaanza kutoa mado, akazitoa, akaziekelea juu ya meza. So I'm kneeling somewhere like here, and ndio hiyo meza mbele yangu, he's seated over here. And so after kutoa pesa akaniambia unaona hizi ni pesa niko nazo. Na juu nimeona mnajua sana, mnafanya vitu venye mnataka. Kuanzia leo, it's either you go be a prostitute, go be a housemaid or a chokora. Just choose any that can suit you. But sitawahi kusomesha. Hizi pesa zote afadhali nizikunywe ama nimwage na mtaro nione zimeenda na sewage. And immediately he called the second wife, akamwambia tupatane club, start ordering, I'm coming. And that was the last encounter I had with my dad. And he went. So immediately he went. I remember I sat down at a corner like this one and I was so confused. I began asking myself a lot of questions. And I was like, I think I'm not even supposed to be in this world.
Yes.
I don't even deserve the best. Already meaning to useless. Because see my life, I'm doing drugs. Sija manage kwenda shule, so yes, meaning to useless. And I think that's very true. I deserve to be a prostitute, a housemaid, or a chokora. So I remember that day my mom comes at home at around 9:30. Very excited, amepata at least 5,000. And when she comes and she tries to break to us the news, nobody's even excited about it. So akashanga kwani what's happening? And then she asked, so what is wrong? Mbona mnakaa mko gloomy, shida iko wapi? And when I was trying to tell her what had happened like an hour ago, nilikuwa nashindwa kusema hiyo kitu cause ile kitu tu libaki kwa akili yangu ni endo kwa malaya maid ama nini. So nikifikiria kitu nilikuwa so choked with tears. Yani nilikuwa nashindwa kuongea. So my brother was the one actually who told my mom, baba alikuwa hapa na hivi imehappen na hivi ndo amesema. So mom hakuwa anakubali. Alikuwa like hapana. Imagine amjui kitu mnasema. Mnasema baba alikuwa hapa na akatoa doe. Mko sure kitu yenye mnasema ama ni kunidanganya? Tembe mom sasa mbona tukudanganya kitu kama hiyo? Why should you just come up with your own stories? And I remember my mom said acha tupige magoti tuombe hiyo pesa. Pesa hiyo nishangijua. And my mom, I remember she prayed so much, she was crying, she was praying. And after then hata sidhani tulimaliza wiki mbili ama mwezi tukapigiwa tukaambiwa my dad ameshikwa.
Ameshikwa na polisi?
Yes, he was arrested at around Eldoret when they had gone for a certain mission. And let me tell you, ever since that day, when your phone call iliingia, kwa sababu at first they weren't sure if alikuwa ameuawa ama alikuwa. That is when real bitterness, that was when real bitterness got into me, and that is when hatred developed in my life. And when that phone call came, I was like, Akisi, I wish nijue kwenye yako, si niende tu hiyo prison nimshoot tu yani I want to see him dead. I hated my father with passion. Yani I talked negative. I remember hata karibu tupange eulogy na madhe tuko wacha tujipange tu mapema. Jua mtu afai kuishi anafaa kuwawa, because I was like there is no difference by telling people my dad is dead and he's alive, because hata nikisema kwa live hanisaidi, you know. I was yani that your hatred ilifanya nika develop some bad and negative attitude. And so I remember after that when we were reported that when we were told that ameshikwa na Eldoret prison, for me I felt like ni sawa lakini mungemuua tu, unajua. It does not deserve to live. But now I remember through that time when that happened, personally nikaendelea tu kustruggle na life yangu ya drugs, but in between God is good, nikakuja nikapata shule yenye nilikuwa nimeitangwa, nikaenda Kirinyaga Girls. But when I went there, now that is when I had a lot of things in my mind and in my heart going on. And I remember when I was in school and I was admitted, sasa niko shule nimeingia. Whenever I was in class, I was not concentrating a lot of times because my mind already was captured to something else. And I struggled so much. So ika happen, one of the teachers alikuwa anaitwa Mr. Jerem, I'll never forget him, he was actually a CU patron. Akanitanga tu kwa hall, akaniambia, Dama, unajua nimenotice nikifunza mara mingi you're not in class. Yes, uko hapo lakini akili yako totally and you are distracted, you're not there. And that was the first time I shared my story or my life experience na huo mwalimu. Nikamwambia this and this is what happened, this and this is what happened, whatever. And the mwalimu was like, Dama, I want to tell you one thing that can really help you in your life and move on. So one of the things you need to do, number one, is to give your life to Christ. Another thing you need to do is forgive your dad. Usimwombe akufe. Because mimi nilikuwa naambia mwalimu, mimi nataka babangu akufe. So akaniambia one of the things you need to do is forgive your dad. You need to give your life to Christ, because of course that is not easy if you haven't given your life to Christ. And instead you also need to pray for him. Nilikuwa shamba mwalimu ananiambia
mtu amekufanya hivyo.
Exactly. So niko mwalimu ni kama ajui kitu anasema. And I remember when the teacher approached me, as I don't know how many times as possible, tukiwa tu hapo kwa hall, nikamwambia, sorry mwalimu Joram, but if I behave rude, but trust me, I cannot stand whatever you're telling me. So wewe kuniambia ni forgive mzai, that is the last thing I'll ever do in this world. And I walked away. So after some time tena ndio Dama na kichwa ngumu yake na gangster yake tukachoma shule. Kuchoma shule ndio sisi tukashikwa, tukapelekwa hapo Sagana police station, tukalala. The next day we were released, but tukakuwa expelled from school with the other ladies wenye tulichoma nao shule. So again story yangu ya shule ikaishia hapo. And when all that happened, I remember in between that journey, God was sending a lot of people to come to me by telling me, Dama, you need to give your life to Christ. Oh, Dama, can't you see when you're talented? Oh, unajua ukifanya. But anybody who used to come to me with that vibe, I used to block them or just stay away from them. Juu sikuwa nataka kusikia story ya God. And I remember Yes. And I remember even where we used to live, kulikuwa na church hapo nyuma. And a lot of Fridays they used to do keshas, Sundays ndio wako service. Nilikuwa nasikia tu hizo watu wakiimba manini, niko akimi ndaneza text MCA ni mwambie hiyo church hame hapa juu anatupigia kelele kila saa. Like that is how I used to hate church and anything to do with God. But I remember during that time nikiwa break after nimekuwa expelled, kwa sababu raha ikaendelea kukua mingi. Ndo sisi huko na wababa tuko huko tu tunalewa kwa hizo malls manini. And I remember one day I had prepared myself just waiting for a phone call. Jusi kwa nakosanga hizo masherehe. And this time niko tu nimekaa kwa nyumba, niko peke yangu, nimejitayarisha na ngojea kupigiwa simu. That day was different because I remember when I was seated there, I felt like I was having a conversation with someone that I'm not seeing. And the conversation was just full of challenge. Ushaona ni kama saini kama hapa naweza kuambia Hildah, do you know ukifanya hivi unaweza fanya hivi, do you know ukifanya hivi unaweza kwa hivi. So that is how the conversation was. And I tell you, it left me with one option. Dama, you need to give your life to Christ. And trust me, that option ilinisumbua. And immediately I felt like, yes, I need you, God. I really need you in my life, God. And I remember there was this guy who was called Jemo, ndio mwenye alinisaidia sana, because he's one of the guy who never gave up on me easily with the thing or ya ku give my life to Christ. He was very consistent with me, even no matter how much I used to push him. So I unblocked him. Nikamwambia Jemo, sasa me even though nime have this experience some minutes ago, and I feel like I want to give my life to Christ, so please help me. And so Jemo akakuwa, Damu, unajua vile unakuanga na jokes, unajua unakokangalia una backslide kesho. So sijui ndakusaidiaje. Nikamwambia Jemo, please, I really need help. Ukiona mimi ndo nimekuwa approach, just know I'm serious about it. See how many approach, this time it's me that I've approached you, so please, I need some help. And Jemo akaniambia ni sawa, and I thank God for him because he really helped me so much with my salvation journey and my transformation life. And I remember it was godly, that it was God's time, because I never struggled with releasing or dropping some negative things that I used to do. It happened so fast. Like hiyo decision nilimeka leo na siku kama kesho already nilikuwa nishaanza kufeel harufu ya bangi na ni irritate. Nilikuwa naona mdema kichana niko kikuni udema juu life yake inaenda papi. Naona mtu akikunywa na wahurumia. Like hiyo ni kitu ile happen jana. Na the same thing kesho ndio mimi life yangu imeanza kuchange. So naweza sema siku struggle ku drop vitu. And I remember this guy helped me so much in terms of also sending me some Bible verses, sending me some short prayers to confess. And also he told me to be listening to a certain radio station near gospel too. And akaniambia, if you want to also grow more spiritually, listen to such kind of items. Yes. They'll help you so much. And that is what happened with my salvation journey, and nika grew so fast. And I remember since then, because the guy was involved in ministry, like in terms of singing, alikuwa gospel minister. There was a group that he used to work with, which later I came to work with. And I remember akaanza kuninvite kwa hizo activities za church, akaanza kuninvite kwa hizo events za church. These were things that I never used to do. Yes. And I started getting addicted to them. So every time nilikuwa mpaka na mcall na mwambia, leo mnaenda wapi? Leo mnaenda church gani? Leo you know, I just want to be in that environment. Yes. And through those events that we were going with them, that is when I gave my life to Christ. So that is how I gave my life to Christ. Because I remember it was on 25th December 2015. Tulikuwa kwa certain kesha with them. And that is when I now confessed and officially gave my life to Christ. And it was amazing, and the reception was amazing. I received a lot of love. Yani it was amazing. I nililia sana and I felt like I've been missing a lot. I wish I knew God kitambo. Yes. And apart from that, I remember now after, because I had to go back to school, but it was a bit stressful, because now you see when you're transferring to the next school, obviously watanida letter ya kujua mbona nitoka hiyo shule nyingine. Kini hapo tukatumia wisdom kidogo ya Abraham. Yote Abraham alidanganya. Kini tuliomba msamaha. So tukasema hiyo shule yenye nilikuwa nagonjeka sana juu ilikuwa kwa Mount Kenya. So hata sikupata time ya kuandikiwa letter juu nilitoka tuka nimeenda hosi. So I transferred to St. Valentine girls in Machakos, and that is where I finished my Form 4. And yeah, so that is what happened. And after then, nikiwa huko shule, because I joined things to do with CU, hizo manini, nikaanza kuji-involve so that I can continue to grow even more spiritual, and that is what happened. And so I remember when I was doing my prayers, again this voice comes. So iko like, Dama, you have to forgive your dad. That is one thing that you have left. And I'm like, really? Yes, najua nimeokoka. Yes, najua nimegrow spiritually, but the one thing that I'll never do in this life is forgive that man.
Yes.
Hey, alafu tu Holy Spirit kama wewe na wewe utajua ujui sitakuacha. So every time niko hapo naombea inchi, oh Father Lord, remember our country, forgive your dad. Yani ilikuwa inakuja ni kama iko hapo kwa uso yako, forgive your dad. And it was heavy all the time. Nikilala, I started having dreams with, yani it was crazy. Hiyo kitu haikuniacha. And so one of the days nikifanya tu service huko shule, hii kitu ikakuja tena ikani attack, and I was like, God, if that is what you have decided, ama that is the way you have decided that I should go, let your will be done. It was as short as that. Hata sikusema neno mingi, nilisema tu, God, kama hivyo ndio umeamua, let me not disobey you, let your will be done. I've decided to forgive my dad, and you know, and wacha nikwambie, immediately after confessing that, I felt like ni kama nilikuwa nimeshikwa hivi na kitu tight, nilisikia tu imenitoka mara moja. And I cried so much. I remember immediately after that service, nikaenda nikaomba simu. Nikapigia mom, nikamwambia mom, tangu baba ashikwe umeongea na yeye? Amekupigia simu. And I remember everything that happened around that time, it was very divine. Because nakumbuka tulipewa midterm na ika happen temenye dada alikuwa ameongea na mom, alimpigia kumwambia ko transferred from Eldoret prison to Kamiti Maximum. Mind you, hizi vitu zote zina happen temenye nimeamua kuforgive my dad na temenye nataka kumuona. So you can imagine, ningeenda all the way from Eldoret, but God aka make sure hii time yenye kitu ina happen, let me transfer him to Eldoret to Kamiti Maximum. And here we are. Nikaenda home midterm, nikaambia mom, sasa mimi this and this is what I decided. And so my mom alikuwa anasikia kana naweza nikula nikiwa live. Akaniambia acha nikwambie, hauna kichwa mzuri wewe. Unajua ndio amefanya ukapitia hivi na hivi na hivi. So how on earth are you even getting that strength to forgive him? Nikamwambia mom, unajua sasa mimi nimeokoka. And now my life is different. It's not like about the past.
Yes.
Now I'm a new reborn, and trust me, this is what I need to do ndio niendelee kumove on na maisha yangu.
True.
And so mama akakataa, tukasumbuana na yeye, nikamwambia mimi usipo nikubali shule sitawahi kanyaga. Huku nitakuharibia si vibaya sana. So nilikubalisha niende nimuone na nimwambie nimemforgive. So lastly my mama akakubali tu. That time hata sikuwa na ID. Najua alikuwa ananiambia prison hawezi ingia bila ID. It's a must. So because I was very prayerful, I remember I prayed so much about the visit, and come back to God, you just go ahead of me and be my identity, and you just do your thing.
Yes.
And so when we went there, I remember tukienda hapo kwa reception, and unaulizangwa jina mfungwa wako amefungwa kinini gani, kasema hapo stroke 2 nini. Sasa madam alikuwa hapo, she was very rude. Alikuwa like, hey madam, unakuja kuleta mtoto aone mtu anafungwa kunyongwa. And that is when I knew that my dad amefungwa kunyongwa. So it was, hiyo ilikuwa tu kama shock. Because a lot of times I used to dream with my dad amekufa. You know, it was bad. So ndio nika understand mbona hizi dreams zilikuwa zinanikujia nikiwa shule. And so for real, siwezi danganywa, kitu ilini hit sana. You know, you trust me, hii life story yangu ilikuwa ni kama movie. Hizi ni vitu tunaonanga kwa movie ati watu wanafungwa kunyongwa sijui nini. So it was like it's happening to me. How are you even supposed to handle that? And nakumbuka mama akasema siwezi enda. So mama aende, mimi nibaki. And I was like, it's okay. Then I remember there was a form that was outside there. I sat on it, and I remember just inside me, I asked God, I thought I had borrowed you permission before coming here. Why are you disappointing me? Ama, why is all this happening? immediately tu after kujiuliza hivyo tu na huko ndani, a certain policeman was passing by and he was like, msichana, mbona umekaa hapa nje, ujikoni hujasaidika ama kuna shida? Nikamwambia nilikuwa nimekuja kuona my dad and after a long time nimeambiwa siwezi muona kwa sababu sina ID. Akanambia weka vitu zako hapa, mimi ndo nimekupatia ruhusa. Fuata mama yako, hata ukiulizwa huko mbele sema ni askari fulani fulani. And that is how it happened. So ndio sisi tumeingia, and I remember when I was getting into the main gate, it was tough. I was shaky. I was like, are you sure, Dama, you want to do this? This is someone who has messed your life. This is someone who has abused you, beaten you badly, given you the worst words of life, and you're here going to tell him that I've forgiven you. It's not him apologizing, but it's you.
It's you.
And I was like, yes, I have to do this. So kwa ndani nilikuwa tu Mungu nisaidie, please nisaidie, nikuwe tu strong, yani I have to do this. And I remember walking towards the visit room penye kuna hiyo kioo, and seeing him, I shedded tears. I cried so much. And I would say the visit was planned by God, because even for him, he was very excited seeing me. And it was a bit funny because nilikuwa najua nikienda, I'll still find the gangster in him, like atakuwa tu umekuja kunisamea, okay ni sawa. Nilikuwa najua that is the attitude I'll get from him, but it was different. Because even for him, hiyo time yenye alikuwa prison ready, God had already started working on him. He had started molding him, he had started shaping him, transforming him. Yeah. So he was trying to kushika hiyo kioo, alikuwa mso rudi huko nyuma, nataka kuona vizuri, hebu ongea nisikie sauti yako, sijui nini. Nilikuwa nashindwa, yani nilikuwa ninalia kama mtoto. Yani time iliisha tu nikilia. Tukambiwa time imeisha, Kimani rudi, you know. So tukitoka ika happen, my mom started crying. I think pia ilimhit sana. And venye tulikuwa tunatoka tukapatana karo fulani hapo Muria. Akamwambia, madam, nini mbaya, kuna shida? Umekosewa na mtu? Akamwambia hapana, mimi nilikuja kuona mfungwa wangu, it's been some time, but nimeambiwa time imeisha. Akaambiwa kuja hata umuone kwa hizi gate hapa, kuna hizi machuma hata kwenye unaweza msalimia. Na ukae hapa mpaka wakati mtamalizana na yeye, mimi ndo nimekupatia ruhusa. That's why I'm saying the visit was so divine. And ikahappen, nikamshika hata nikaona ako sawa, and all the time he's trying to talk to me. This time he's trying to even tell me, you know, in the word of sijui nini. That was not my dad before. Ungefikiria ni pastor ameshikwa. So akaanza kuniambia, unajua hata nini nasema hapa mwenye dhambi sijui bla bla bla. Nashindwa kuongea, but inside I'm like, God, you have done it. Because immediately after even forgiving him, I started praying for him. Venye ule nilikuwa na advice ule mwalimu wangu. So when I confirmed that the purpose for the visit, it was godly, ni time yenye alikuwa ananiambia, I have been waiting for this moment myself. Na umefanya poa tu juu ni Mungu amefanya ukakuja mpaka to a point of wewe kuja kusema umenisamehea. Because though it took time before confessing to him that nimekuja kukusamehea, ili take time. So after a long time ndio nikamwambia, baba, mimi nimekuja tu kukuambia nimekusamehea kwa vitu zote zenye ulinifanyia, and na kuombea maisha marefu. Kuna reason kwa nini marafiki wako wote walikufa, and you're the only one who is alive. There is a reason as to why you're here in committee. So usifikire Mungu amekuacha ama life has abandoned you. Just think about the positive things. Continue knowing him even more. Continue desiring to know his word, you know, just soak yourself in him, and you'll see your life will totally change, and nothing is impossible. And yeah, that is what I told him. And I remember kaniambia amefurahia sana, na pia yeye watu wote wenye walikosea anaomba msamaha, na kila mtu mwenye pia alimkosea amewasamehea. And that is how it all happened. And ever since then we became very good friends. Anytime he used to have special visits, kuna visits zinaitwa special visits, zenye mnaingia huko ndani mnawapelekea mpaka food. Like I've always been there for him. Every time he needs me, I'm always there for him. And that's my story.
Right now you're a gospel artist.
Yes.
For how long have you been doing gospel music?
3 years officially. The other times I was joking, I was not saying with understanding. So I would say 3 years. Yeah.
Na umeimba nyimbo kadhaa?
Yes, I have.
But your latest is called Upendo Wako.
Yes.
It's been almost 1 week since you released it.
Yes.
Tell us about that song. Does it speak to you?
Yes, it does. And Upendo Wako ilikuja in a funny way sana. Because when I was working with Simon the Beat, he sent me a track and told me, Dama, what do you think about the track? Is there anything that you can work on? I told them, yeah, sure. Siwezi kosa idea. So when I was working on a song, I was actually writing about faith. I did the chorus about faith and started working on verses, and I was like, Simon, we have a song. Nipatie session. So sikwenye Simon the Beat alinipatia session, waking up on that day, I remember I woke up around 7 a.m. I woke up with a different idea and I was like, I have to work on this idea. Ninataka kuchange. I don't want to sing about faith now. Let me sing about this idea yenye imekam kwa spirit yangu ya upendo wako. Ilikuwa tu very upendo wako. And so I was talking about God's love in our lives.
Yes.
And Upendo Wako, it is a song that I love so much so far out of all the songs that I have done. And the session was amazing. I think that is one of the sessions zenye nimehave yenye ilikuwa very emotional. And I really had a nice time. Because I just nilitransform to your chorus, to your story of faith, to Upendo Wako. Na sikuwa na verses za Upendo Wako. So nilienda tu studio and I was like, Saimo, when I get to your track, achiendele tu ikinini, nikiwakia verses. And that's how Upendo Wako came. So Upendo Wako, it's like, I'm talking about my life indirectly, but I'm like speaking to the people outside there.
Yes.
Because when we talk about darkness, this is a season that each and every one of us has to go through.
Yes.
You cannot escape that. And also, when we talk about darkness, this is a path that God sometimes allows us to go through it.
Yes.
And when I refer to the story of Joseph, the story of Job, these are people who went through the worst in their lives. And because I'm saying Joseph and Job because hizo ndio stories zenye mpenda sana kwa Bible, they really encourage me a lot. Because when you look back at the life of Joseph, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers.
Yes.
His blood brothers, not his step brothers. Angalia life yangu. My dad, I was suffering the same thing with my dad, not my step dad. Angalia story ya Job. Job, everything was taken away from him. Everything, including his kids. You know how painful that is to lose everything at once. But God, si ati hakuwa present. God was present. He saw whatever was happening. He saw the bitterness. He saw the betrayal. He saw everything. But he allowed it to happen because he knew whatever was ahead was even much greater.
Great.
And the thing, sijui hata mbona naenda ukwache ikue niki-encourage. Rather nirudi kwa Upendo Wako because nitimeninia. But yeah, what I was saying is Upendo Wako ni project yenye na try kuongelesha watu kuambia even right now, because I believe that some people even who are watching us wako kwa hiyo path their darkness.
Yes.
And they are doing the negative things because when I was there I was doing drugs. I was comforting myself with things I thought that were better that can even straighten my life. And I understand kuna watu wako wanna go through even more worse things.
Yes.
Even kuliko zenye mimi nilipitia.
True.
And through that time, because that is what I was trying to say even in the song, because I was saying when I look back at my life, a lot of people judged me. A lot of people talked negative things about me. And that is what is happening even right now to the people, even some of the people who are watching us. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't matter who is talking negativity about you. It doesn't matter who has betrayed you. It doesn't matter who has rejected you. It is very painful because inaweza kuwa ni mtu you love so much, someone you could never ever imagine that he or she would have done that to your life.
Yes.
You might be rejected with your own blood, but I'm here to tell you that in God you're not denied. And when you're in that path, a lot of things do happen.
Yes.
A lot of whispers, negative whispers to be precise. Ziu kuja zinakuambia kwa masikio, Jose, yani umerejectwa na mamako, enda commit suicide. Yani Wamboi umetukanwa na bwanako, hujafanya hivi, ingia Illuminati. Fanya hivi. A lot of negative things are whispering to our ears. But what I'm here to tell you is that God has not forgotten you.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because you're in that cocoon, no matter how bad or tough it is. Ati sasa Mungu alikuacha and you end up throwing hands at God, ama questioning God. Apana. It is a path that we all have to go through. Just know that God loves you. Mtu akikuchukia pale akuongelelezo vitu negative, just know that God's love brings healing. Yes. And it brings peace of mind that you'll never get from a human being. Underline human being.
Kweli.
And that's all about Upendo Wako. Yes.
It's such a beautiful song.
Thanks a lot.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
You keep going, keep singing, keep encouraging, keep inspiring.
Yes.
Because your story is really inspiring. And I know someone is asking now, where can I find the song? How can where is the song actually? And how can people find you? What are your social media handles? Yes.
So in case you want to check out my music and even more, or even talk to me, maybe you're going through something and you feel like, Dama, you have really spoken to me, Ama, this is my situation. On Instagram, it's Damaris Kimani. That is where actually you can find me very easily. Damaris Kimani _ Facebook, Damaris Kimani. Everywhere it's Damaris Kimani. YouTube, it's Damaris Kimani TV. Utapata mziki. Mziki zangu ama mziki wangu huko. Utapata songs zangu huko. Yes.
Talk to someone who has been in the same shoe like as you, especially in the upbringing.
Yes.
They feel like, you know what, my parents changed my story and I don't feel loved again. I don't have courage. You know, I don't have confidence in myself. Just talk to that person who's going through the same thing and they feel like this is the end of life and I want to give up.
Yeah, so if you're watching me and maybe right now you're in the shoe that I was in before, it doesn't matter about the situation that you're going through. If you're there and you're rejected, either with your own parents, your own blood, your brother, your sister, your uncle, whoever it is, I'm here to tell you that it is not the end of it. Don't cut your life short because you feel that you're not loved or you're rejected. Instead, stir up your faith. And how do you stir up your faith? Just try and look at how is your relationship with God. Because when I gave my life to Christ, I was like, I wish I knew him before. I wish I knew him before. But because all that happened, na niko hapa kukuchanua, my brother, my sister, if you're watching me, that is the first way to begin. Give your life to Christ. Know this God more. What is he talking about your life in your word? Because the word says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Sometimes it's because of this knowledge that we don't have. Because hata kama mimi ningekuwa najua, ningekuwa nakumbuka hiyo time Jeremiah 29:11 inasema hivi, trust me, that would have kept me going. But because I didn't have that knowledge, and now that I have it, that's why I'm here to encourage you. Just know that God loves you so much, and his love only if you accept him. Trust me, your life will never be the same again. Love him more, trust in him. Whoever has offended you, whoever has said negative words to you, just silence the words of the wickedness or the enemy in your ears. Start thinking positivity. Start confessing positive things in your life. There is a song that I love so much. I'm going to forward. It is all about confessing positive things about your life. Just know God anasema nini about you, not kitu yenye Deno anasema about your life.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's not Deno who created you. It is not Njoki who created you. It is God who created you. And so long as that you're living, my dear, so long as you're breathing, your purpose is not yet done. It doesn't matter sai kama uko kwa street. It doesn't matter kama sai unalala kwa store. Just know that your purpose is just the beginning of greater things. Go end of what a story of Joseph. Go read the story of Job and you'll understand all I'm talking about. But anyway, remember God loves you so much, more than I do or anyone else. Yeah, so just know that time and chances happens to everyone that who loves the Lord. And apart from that, one thing that I love telling people is that everything happens at this world, happens at the time God chooses. And all things work together for our good. That is the last thing I can tell them. It doesn't matter whether it's bad, but just know that all things work together for your good. Si mimi nimesema ni Biblia, so useme.
Kweli.
And you know when the word says it, it will definitely fulfill. Biblia inatuambia word ya God haitarudi kama bado itatendeka. Don't take it as a joke, my friend. Yeah.
That is so powerful. Preach, girl, preach.
After hapa nenda kubatizwa, nenda kuapishwa nikwe Bishop Akadais. Nikwe mnapanga appointment, nataka mawaidha.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thanks a lot.
It was nice hosting you. Yes. For you to get here, it's been a journey, and the knowledge is just oozing because Mungu amekupa hiyo grace.
Yes.
And when you have knowledge, you don't keep it to yourself.
Yes.
You share it with other people, because so that they can also live in light and not in darkness.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you, Damaris. You keep going, and thank you for coming to Unfold.
I appreciate it.
God bless
Thanks
you.
a lot for having me.
Thank you. That was Damaris Kimani for you guys. And as I always say, do not allow pain on the pen of your story. You have the power to change your story. I mean, you're still alive today, you're still watching this video. That means God is not done with you. So it doesn't matter what you've gone through, either pain, happiness. I mean, Mungu anajua mbona tunapitia kenye tunapitia. Na everything happens for a reason. It will not make sense at that time, but in future, you will look back and say, God, I now understand why I went through that. What is your story? Are you willing to share with us? Unfold is here for you. How can you reach us? You can either call us, you can text us, or you can email us. And we also host motivational speakers, life coaches, mentors, psychologists to come just shed some light in specific areas of life. And just in case you're willing to support our content, our till number is 5548597. Until next time, bye.
Simon on the beat. When I look back at my life, mahali nilianzia, giza ilikuwa imenikabamia. I never thought the lights would come to my tunnel. Imani yangu ilikuwa imehofia, shetani kaniiba, kuniua, kuniangamiza, lakini wewe Yesu ukakuja kuniokoa, ukanilinda na ukanipenda. Asante Baba, mimi nasi upendo wako Baba waponya. Upendo wako waleta amani. Upendo wako Baba waponya. Upendo wako waleta amani. Yaweza kuwa hivi leo maisha imekugonga, ujui uanze wapi wala umlilie nani. Walisema hutaweza kumeremeta, utateketea, nyota yako imezima, tangaika na hii dunia. Wewe dada yangu, naomba umjue huyu Yesu, kwa maana yeye hana hukumu lolote. wako leo.